A very good evening to you and welcome to ITV News. This is Wednesday night's calendar.
Hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
Missiles! On the front line, fresh footage of the violence officers faced in South Yorkshire is released on the day that more of those who took part are sentenced.
You were not being directed by others. You were doing this of your own volition.
The simple measurement that could prove crucial and why medics in Yorkshire want more of them.
We'll have an Olympic champion in the studio. Katie Marchand and her gold medal will be joining us live. Plus,
well, speaking of Olympians, there's currently a welcome home party going on right here in Leeds for Olympians Luke Whitehouse and bronze medal winner Harry Hepworth. I'll be speaking to them shortly.
And although there is a little bit of rain in the forecast over the next few days, there are lots of positives as we head towards the weekend. All the detail a little later on.
but first tonight, the fast-track approach to dealing with those involved in the recent riots is losing no momentum, with more of those who played their part in the violence in Rotherham now behind bars.
Among those sentenced in court today were a 60-year-old man, another who was registered disabled, and a disqualified driver who drove 50 miles from North Lincolnshire to take part in disturbances.
Martin Fisher has been following the fallout and has sent this report from Sheffield Crown Court.
Rioting at the Holiday Inn Express at Wath that's now seeing many of those involved in court and going to jail. The judge in Sheffield has said how the malevolent use of social media encouraged the riot. But today the court heard not all those had intended to be there. And one of those was 60-year-old Glyn Guest from Wombwell. Now, the court heard that he had only got involved in the riot because he was out walking his dog and went to see what was happening. But then body cam footage was shown to the court today, worn by a police officer who was in a line of police officers with riot shields trying to get the mob to move away from the Holiday Inn hotel. On that footage, it showed Guest barging into the line of riot shields at least 6 times. On the 6th time, he actually grabbed one of the officer's shields, the officer then falling to the ground, and there was a large cheer from the mob that had assembled. Well, the Recorder of Sheffield, Judge Jeremy Richardson KC, said this as he sentenced him to 2 years, 8 months in prison.
You were part of a violent mob, and you were playing your part to the full. You were not being directed by others. You were doing this of your own volition.
Well, another of those said not to be influenced by social media to get involved in the riot was 49-year-old Trevor Lloyd from Rawmarsh. Now, the court heard he'd been at the nearby Aldi store shopping with his partner when he saw what was happening at the nearby Holiday Inn and went across to have a look and subsequently got involved. The court heard how he filmed people going in and out of the hotel to get chairs, fire extinguishers and other missiles to throw at the police. And in fact, at one point he himself went inside and came back out of the hotel. Well, he was sentenced today to 3 years in prison. The judge saying this: you were involved watching and encouraging and filming on your phone those who were confronting officers. You were well to the fore. You entered the hotel yourself and came out smiling. Also sentenced today was 38-year-old Stuart Bolton. A disqualified driver, he drove 50 miles from North Lincolnshire to take part in the riot. He was sentenced to 2 years and 8 months. Alongside him in the dock was 23-year-old Elliot Ragg from Barnsley, who was sentenced to 2 years, 4 months for his part in the riot. Over the coming days, more people are expected to be sentenced at Sheffield Crown Court for the part they played in the riot. Martin Fisher, ITV News.
And just to let you know, you can see a full account on our website of those jailed so far for their part in the riots that hit our region. You can find that and more news, of course, at itv.com/calendar. That's right now.
In other news now, 3 teenagers have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a boy died from multiple injuries following an incident on the Transpennine Trail near Doncaster. Now, in July, 15-year-old Darius Poppen died in hospital after he was found between Sprotborough and Walmsworth. Police say 2 17-year-old boys and a 15-year-old girl are in custody. They had previously been arrested on suspicion of drug-related offences.
Next, police say they're becoming increasingly concerned for 2 young brothers who've been missing from home in West Yorkshire for 2 days.
Officers are urgently searching for 13-year-old Yusuf Ahmed and his 10-year-old brother Mohammed, who are believed to be together. Well, John Hill joins us from the newsroom now. John, there's growing concern about this, isn't there?
Yes, worries from West Yorkshire Police, Lara, for the welfare of the 2 young boys. 13-year-old Yusuf Ahmed and his brother Mohammed, who's just 10. Well, they were last seen at home in Liversedge at about 20 to 10 on Monday morning. The worry for their welfare because of their age and, of course, the amount of time they've now been missing. Now, Mohammed is about 4 foot 7 inches tall. Although not wearing them in this photograph, he usually wears square glasses. He was last seen wearing a black hoodie, grey tracksuit bottoms and black trainers with a white stripe. Yusuf is about 5 foot 6 inches tall. He wears glasses. He was last seen wearing a Leyland Scott grey hoodie, North Face trousers and black trainers. Now, police say they're carrying out extensive inquiries and they're appealing for any information to get the boys safely home.
Thank you very much, John, for that live update from the newsroom. Let's hope that those boys can be found quickly.
Now, specialist brain surgeons from our region are calling for a review of the way babies' heads are measured in their first year of life to ensure serious conditions are being picked up at the earliest opportunity.
Now, a baby's head circumference is supposed to be checked when they're born and at around 6 to 8 weeks old. It's to pick up on conditions like hydrocephalus, which is a build-up of fluid on the brain.
But a children's charity has told us those routine checks aren't always happening, and when they aren't always enough, as Lauren Hall reports.
It's quick and simple, and it's one of the most important health checks a baby will have in their first year of life. That's because routine head measurements can identify serious brain conditions. Lily was 4 months old when she was diagnosed with hydrocephalus. That's a build-up of fluid on the brain. Her head measurements indicated a potential problem, but it wasn't until her parents rushed her to A&E that a scan revealed she had the life-threatening condition.
We've been very lucky and she's absolutely fine, but to think if she wasn't scanned, like, everything could have changed, like she could have been so much different.
It's more just frightening to think that if we didn't act and they didn't act, we would have lost our daughter. So it's just not really something I'm not thinking about, really.
Caroline Coates had a similar experience with her son. It inspired her to set up the charity Harry's Hydrocephalus Awareness Trust, known as Harry's Hat. Harry's doing well, but other children aren't always as lucky. Many develop brain damage, and it can be fatal.
We're hearing from more and more families where their children's head wasn't measured, so opportunities to spot their hydrocephalus early were missed. And for the families, that has a really difficult impact. And also, early diagnosis is key.
The charity wants to ensure head measurements are always done, and it wants them done more often. Babies' heads are supposed to be measured at birth and again at 6 to 8 weeks old.
It's okay. Hey.
Some countries do it every month or so during a baby's first year. That's led to calls to review the UK guidelines, which is supported by a number of neurosurgeons.
Head circumference is such an easy thing to do. I think people should do it as much as they weigh a baby and should act on it like they do if a weight's dropping off the centiles. And so I do feel it's important, and changing the guidelines will increase the awareness to doctors, health visitors and parents that it is an important measurement to do.
Lily's now 2 and back home with her twin brother Ronnie. Her parents want to raise awareness of hydrocephalus and the importance of head measurements, so babies like Lily get the treatment they need at the earliest opportunity. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
It's very important, isn't it, now that Bradford is known for its infamous curry houses, but what you might not know is that the city was once a cultural hotspot of daytime raves for for the large South Asian community.
Now, a generation later, a group of young women are hosting their own version to suit the needs of the ever-diverse South Asian population of young girls and women in the city.
Tamina Alam has been to meet them.
An unassuming building in the heart of Bradford. But what these four walls hold is crucial to South Asian girls and women in this city. Welcome to a Daytimer. From the late 80s to the 90s, now defunct daytime raves were a staple of culture for a generation of British Asians. Having parties in the afternoon and returning home in time for dinner allowed young people to have the best of both worlds. And it still stands true today.
It was about people trying to have a party, having a good time, but during the day, because a lot of people weren't always allowed to go out at night. And I always love kind of the cheeky history behind it of how people would be like, oh, I'm staying behind in school, or I'm doing some after school, and actually they would be at parties and it would happen like quite underground and quite secretive. And now we're not like secretive and it's not underground.
An unapologetic celebration of identity is definitely not a secret here.
This event is about more than the vibrancy of the culture, the beauty of the music, the food, the clothes. It's more than that. It's about the ability to do it freely, in a safe space.
When I was their age, I wouldn't have been allowed. It was in the unknown for our parents. So there was a fear element of, well, what will happen there? It's about having a safe space where they feel safe, but also as parents, we know they're safe. So the beauty of this place is that they can be who they want to be, and that's not me saying that, that's them saying that.
When I was younger, I wouldn't really talk about being Pakistani. It was something I was kind of like, I shouldn't say, but I was a bit embarrassed of. I'm proud that I can come and I can be like, oh wait, let me show you how we dance in my country or how we dance in my culture. It's a big part of our South Asian culture to dance, to sing. Like we have folk songs, we have traditions of dance, but that's always obviously combined to like women doing it with women. And obviously that's where most of us are comfortable and we want to keep it like that. But sometimes it get kind of boring. Like sometimes you just don't have an excuse to go dance with your friends. And I love dancing, so I was like, okay, I want to go dance. And knowing it's all girls, I want to meet new people. It's not going to be all ladies, it's not going to be my family, it's not going to be my mum, but it'll be all girls and I'll still be comfortable.
This space being culturally and religiously appropriate is key. Noor and her peers aren't trying to break the stereotype, they're taking ownership of it.
When you want to do something or have a bit of fun, it doesn't necessarily mean that and do something that is completely out of our culture, completely out of our comfort zone. We don't want this idea of that people thinking we're oppressed. It's more that actually, you know what, I do enjoy just dancing in front of girls.
This is their stage and they're expressing themselves on their own terms. Tamina Alam, ITV News.
Dancing during the daytime, that's my kind of thing. What about you, Keza?
I'm so here for that. Afternoon dancing
then it's
with
early to
girlfriends
bed.
in a safe space and then early to bed. Although I am a bit of a night owl, so yeah, oh, it's tricky. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank
Did you have a nice holiday?
I had a lovely holiday in France, yes, thank you. And it was hot.
It was very hot, and it was almost as hot here. We've had a couple of heat waves while you've been away. Not as hot today, it was a little fresher. We had clearing skies coming in from the northwest during the course of this morning, and that allowed for some mist and low cloud at Chatsworth. You can just about see it there first thing this morning. A big thank you to Ian. And I've just been thinking, like, most people don't have to go away, don't have to go to France or Spain. We just go down the road and round the corner. It's summertime. We just go out for a day trippers. So
I love Goathland.
it's day trippers this week for viewers' pictures. This is, of course, Goathland. What is not to love? An old-fashioned, old-school railway station there with the heather coming through for late summer and the blue skies. A big thank you to Sean. And also this one. Do you know, I've never been to Richmond. Why ever not? It looks absolutely glorious there, doesn't it, with the summer greens and the very fair weather cumulus that we had during the course of this morning. And Hebden Gill, which I believe is near Grassington. A big thank you to Alison for that. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Good to get out and about. Maybe not quite as pretty as we head into tomorrow. So if you are hill walking, the winds are whipping up. There could be gusts in excess of 40 and there will be a spell of rain, but it's not all bad news for the forecast a little later up on
Stay low level.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks, Keza.
We
See you
look
later.
forward to it. Well, you know, in this weather, I have to say, I do enjoy being out in the garden, pottering about.
Yes. How is your garden getting
It's
on these
good,
days?
but there's a little problem.
What's that?
A little problem. Well, if you've ever felt like your garden has witnessed a slug invasion over recent months, well, you're certainly not alone, because I certainly have too.
Oh dear, have they just eaten everything?
Yes, munch, munch, munch.
Experts say that there have been more slimy molluscs, as they're known in the region this year, thanks to a wet spring and, of course, a temperamental summer that we all know about. With some countermeasures like slug pellets now banned, I hope you're not using them, Catherine Walker has been to find out what we can do to protect our beloved flowers.
They like to feast on leaves and seedlings, leaving big holes in our prized plants. This year, the damp spring and mild summer have created the perfect breeding conditions for slugs, causing havoc for gardeners like Sarah in Sheffield.
I planted about 16 sunflowers and I've got 2 that survived the sort of onslaught, and I didn't get any veg seedlings survive at all. So we've sort of given up on vegetables for now. Definitely there's a good sort of army of slugs make their way across to the more edible plants in the garden.
And it seems they're leaving a trail of destruction across the region. Dr. Hayley Jones says the Royal Horticultural Society has been inundated with calls from desperate gardeners.
We've definitely seen more inquiries about slugs, kind of, pictures of slug damage this year than in the last couple of years, especially after the long damp winter. And if the seedlings get nibbled on before they've had a chance to get going, then it's really hard to catch up from that.
But even though our gardens still bear the scars of destruction, experts say slugs are important for biodiversity.
People's gardens are not crop producing areas. It actually doesn't really matter if a few flowers get eaten here and there. Slugs are incredibly important for the wider ecosystem. They're really crucial decomposers. They improve soil fertility and all sorts of other things, but there are a handful that do attack our gardens and crops, but they're actually in the minority.
So is there a way to protect our plants and be environmentally friendly? In York, head gardener Steve suggests leaving a pile of leaves for them to eat, or even making your own slug pub.
Get something like an empty butter container or a plastic fast food container, fill it with beer and then sink it into your garden, and then what will happen is the next morning you will find it full of slugs and snails because they've been attracted, and they'll be attracted by the beer and they will choose that over your prized plants every time.
In small doses, slugs can be a gardener's friend, adding much needed nutrients to the soil. But if you're really struggling, a bottle of beer is a small price to pay to protect your flowers. Catherine Walker, ITV News.
Sloshed slugs.
It's certainly sloshed. I've heard eggshells are good for them as well.
That sounds painful.
It is, to slugs, not you. OK, time for some sport now.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
And Chris is with us in the studio. And Chris, I know we've got some returning Olympians tonight, haven't we? But first of all, what about the football?
Yeah, we'll talk about the football in a second, but Lara's not the only one making a glorious return from France, is she? Looking forward to hearing from some of those Olympic heroes. But first, let's take a look at which of our teams got through to the second round of the EFL Cup last night. Sheffield United are enjoying a fine start to the season. They made it 2 wins in 2 with a 4-2 victory over Wrexham. Huddersfield have enjoyed a perfect start as well. They beat Morecambe 3-0. Harrogate pulled off an impressive 2-1 win at Lincoln from the league above. Billy Sharp was amongst the goals yet again as his Doncaster team beat Salford. Rotherham came back from a goal down to beat Crewe 2-1, and Barnsley went through on penalties against Wigan. Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday both in action tonight. OK, so are you having withdrawal symptoms from the Olympics yet? 3 days have passed since the curtain came down on the Games in Paris. Athletes have returned home. We'll be hearing from one in the studio very soon, in fact. But first, Arif Ahmed is live in Leeds for a very special welcome home party. Arif, looks to be in full swing there behind you.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. All these people have come out to welcome two very special people back home to Leeds. They've all come out for a welcome home party for Olympians Luke Whitehouse and the man that won this shiny bronze medal, Harry Hepworth. The party is in full swing, as we say. These two Olympians arrived just a short time ago to a rapturous reception even, and let's take a look at that moment now.
Please welcome Leeds Gymnastics Club's newest Olympians.
Well, that was an incredible moment there. We've managed to pull them out from that crowd now. Harry, great to see. I better give you this back. This belongs to you. First of all, what a reception that was, wasn't it?
I know, there was so many people there. It was honestly crazy, and it's all the people that have helped us get into the position we are now, so I'm forever grateful to everyone that's here.
And Harry Hepworth, Olympic bronze medalist. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It sounds good, but it hasn't sunk in yet one bit, so I'm still waiting for that to happen.
And tell me, what was it like at the Olympics?
It was just fun more than anything. Every single thing we did was so fun. I couldn't wait to get back out there. Every single time we had...
And Grandma, how proud are you of your grandson?
Oh, very proud, yeah. I always knew he was good and dedicated, but we never expected this. It's unbelievable.
And you've been driving him to training every afternoon for years and years.
For years, yeah.
The important question now is about time he drives his pass.
Passed his test, yes. Yes, otherwise we'll start charging him.
Thank you. Let's speak to another Olympian, Luke Whitehouse. Luke, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, that was probably the best experience of my life, and it's something that I'll never forget.
And tell me very quickly, this reception was incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. Like Harry said, I didn't expect that many people to be here, so just thank you to everyone that turned up today to welcome us back.
Thank you very much. Well, clearly everyone's come out here for a party, and let me tell you, this is going to go on long into the night.
Looks like it too, Harry. Thank you very much in Leeds for us tonight. Grandma Janice stealing the show from the Olympians there, but from one homecoming to another.
Yes, because fresh from Paris with her Olympic gold medal, I'm delighted to say that lead cyclist Katie Marchand is here in the studio. It's lovely to see you, Katie.
Really lovely to see you. Now, Katie spent the last 11 years working towards that epic win with the women's sprint team last week. And what makes her achievement even more amazing is that until 2013, you'd only ever cycled in a leisurely way, hadn't you?
Yeah.
So congratulations. It's wonderful to have you here in the Calendar studio. How has it felt, this whole whirlwind that's been surrounding you?
It's been completely surreal, an absolute dream come true. I can't believe it was only a week ago, yet it feels like such a long time ago. But yeah, I've just been reliving it ever since, and yeah, it's a memory that will last with me for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that round your neck, of course, you've got that much loved, much thought after gold medal. Would you just want to show our camera too there? Let's have a look at it. And what's that in the middle?
This is a little bit of the Eiffel Tower. When they reconstructed the Eiffel Tower,
Really?
they added a little bit to every medal, so very special.
Very special and heavy too.
Yeah, very heavy actually, yeah.
Katie, you couldn't do it on your own, could you? You had Emma and Sophie there in the team sprint, bar higher and higher, didn't you?
Yeah, the competition was really, really hot, but so exciting at the same time. And just before we got up for the first round, we were last off in the first round, and 2 world records had been broken, and we knew it was going to take a world record to make the final. But we just stuck to our processes, nailed on what we needed to do, and yeah, we made it to the final.
Incredible.
And after you'd won it, we saw those pictures, where you were together, reunited with your little boy Arthur. What was that like, being able to do that? Because, of course, when you'd won your medal in Tokyo, the bronze, you weren't able to do that. You didn't have any family there to support you.
No, this is the first time, we've been able to have our family and friends there, and that felt really, really special. And really emotional as well, actually, for all them. They know the highs and the lows of it all, and then to have Arthur, he was blissfully unaware of what was going on. There was just a lot of noise, but yeah, it was just amazing. All day I had to avoid looking up at to the family in the crowd because it was making me feel really emotional, and I really needed to focus on the job at hand. But yeah, just to have that moment when we crossed the line, and yeah, just absolute pure elation.
And then when you got back home to Leeds, of course, there was a welcome committee there as well, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. The family and friends were back there as well, and yeah, just super special. I could not do it without their support, and it means everything to me. So this medal's not just for me, it's for them as well.
Dare I ask, Katie, LA, 4 years' time, can you do it? Are you going to be there?
I've got the bug for winning now, so I definitely don't feel like I'm done yet. But, I'm just going to take a couple of weeks to just decompress and try and soak up every moment of this. And then, yeah, it's back to training and we'll see where we end up.
Wow.
We're all very proud of you, Katie. Thanks ever so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Stay with
Thank
us though,
you.
won't you? Time for the weather now. Here's Kerry.
Good visibility on the horizon. TIRI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. In the sunshine, it's not been too bad at all today. Started off fairly cloudy and damp, but we had a good deal of blue sky. Sue is from Bridlington, but she's been spending time in Scarborough. It looked like it was in the Med. A big thank you for sharing weather photos at itv.com. So this is the slice of clear skies that have started edging their way in to northern and western parts during the course of today, and that will continue as we head into this evening and overnight tonight. So the best of those clear skies for the whole of the region coming in the middle of the night. The winds will be fairly light for much of the night, although they will start to increase as we head towards dawn, and ahead of that, mid-teens Celsius for towns and cities, but it is a fresher feel for all overnight tonight. So by the time we reach tomorrow morning, a little bit of cloud and some bits and pieces of rain over the Dales perhaps. There is sometimes 5:46 and 8:34. The best of any drier, brighter weather will come through very first thing, soon clouding up, and then erratically and probably quite slowly for East and South Yorkshire it goes downhill with outbreaks of showery rain, heavy at times, especially over the hills. Now noticeably so will be those winds, and they could be gusting in excess of 35-40 miles an hour for the coasts and right over the tops of the North York Moors and the Pennines. Temperature wise though, we're still not doing too bad as that system pushes through. It's still quite warm and humid. It clears quite quickly so that Friday gives us that lovely day to end the working week. Largely dry and sunny, just a bit of a breeze and highs into the 20s. And for the weekend itself, mostly dry, variable cloud, but with some bright or sunny spells.
TIRI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Well, if weather forecasting was an Olympic sport, I'm sure you'd get a gold medal, Kerry.
Oh, that's the closest I'm ever going to get to one, that is for sure. It's very, very
What do you think of it?
Yeah.
It's great. Feel how heavy it is.
Oh my goodness, it really
Yeah,
is heavy. When you
is.
said it was, I didn't expect it to be that heavy. It's magnificent. Well done, congratulations.
Oh, Katie, thank you so much for coming in to show us your medal. It was wonderful.
It was. From all of us here, have a very good evening. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.